Hi, I'm Emma Edelman, and I'm going to be talking about how math is used in fashion. So, to start out with the branch of math, fashion uses geometry in many different ways. Geometry is the branch of mathematics that relates the principles covering distances, angles, patterns, areas, and volumes. And all the visually and spatially related concepts are categorized under geometry, and math aids in defining the framework for how components are arranged in a design, and highly abstract patterns and geometric shapes, for example, like triangles, squares, circles, zigzags, and other different shapes might be present in different amounts. And then organic patterns, on the other hand, they resemble elements found in nature. They may or may not be geometric depending on the pattern that is chosen. And abstract and organic patterns are frequently combined by designers to create new patterns by combining their geometry. So, how is geometry used in fashion? When creating a design, many highly abstract patterns and shapes are used. Some might include, like I mentioned before, triangles, squares, circles, or zigzags. And measurements are another big part of fashion, as it's impossible to create clothing without measuring. And ensuring that the clothing will fit the models requires exact and calculated measurements. Measurements is definitely a big part of fashion relating to math. And how else is math used in fashion? So there's two big ways that I found when I was doing my research. One way is proportions. Some clothing items have a specific cut and they're made to fit a specific body type. Based on how certain models' proportions compare to the cut of the clothing, certain pieces are chosen for them to wear. And math is used to ensure that the measurements of the model and the clothing actually match up. Math is also used in expenses. Expenses is a big part of the math aspect of fashion. Calculating the cost of fabric, hangers, thread, and other necessities for the fashion industry involves a lot of math. Calculations are also performed to determine the clothing's production cost, which is very important. What sparked my interest in this topic? So, my interest in this topic was sparked because this isn't something we've talked about in our class, and I've actually never learned about this in any of my classes that I took in high school or in college so far. But that kind of leads into the next question: why did I choose this topic? So, I recently added a minor in fashion merchandising, and I wanted to get a closer look into not only the math side of things, but just fashion in general. Because I haven't started those classes yet. Since I just added the minor, I'll be starting them next semester. So I just wanted to get a closer look into that, and now I have more background knowledge on the math side of fashion before I start those classes, which is cool. What did I learn? I definitely learned a lot when I was doing my research. I was very surprised how much math is actually involved in the fashion world. So the first thing I learned was how much geometry is used in fashion. I never really realized it, and geometry is actually my favorite kind of math. It was my favorite math class that I took in high school, so it was really cool to see how much geometry was used in fashion. And then the expense side of things. Obviously, things in fashion are very expensive, but I never realized how much math went into that and how important the expenses were. And then how proportions involve math. Proportions are a big part of fashion, and I never realized how much math was involved with that part either. And then overall, math is a very crucial component of fashion design, and you don't have to be good at math to be in the fashion world, but you definitely have to understand how important it is and what goes into it and what kind of math is used. And then I also learned that math is everywhere, and no matter what topic you decided to research, there's so much math involved in everything, and it's really cool to learn about it all. So, why is math important in fashion? So, have you ever had to get a piece of clothing tailored because it didn't fit properly? You should be thinking geometry. Every piece of clothing starts with basic geometric shapes: rectangles, circles, triangles, or trapezoids. They're combined and manipulated to shape the human body. Designers use geometry to tailor garments to fit the body in specific ways, creating shapes that are both flattering and functional. For example, Japanese designer Issey Miyake is known for his revolutionary use of geometric shapes in fashion. His collections often include garments made from simple yet precise geometric forms that fold, pleat, expand to create designs. Miyake's use of geometry is not just about the aesthetics, it's about engineering movement and flexibility into the fabric, allowing the garments to transform as the wearer is moving throughout the day. And then his iconic Pleats Please collection, it uses geometric pleating to create garments that change in shape and volume, which is really cool. And that was really cool to learn about. I did not know any of that prior to my research. And then these are the sources that I used for my research. They were all very interesting, and I really enjoyed reading them. Thank you.